News Channel 19 is first live local.
First, officials investigate an arson while neighbors wait for answers. A live report on the strange weather we've had lately and what's causing it. And could traffic cameras at local intersections help drivers obey the law? Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight for News Channel 19 at 10. I'm Jerry Hayes. Amy George has the night off. New tonight at 10, Huntsville firefighters were called back out to a house which is the subject of an arson investigation. News Channel 19's Tom Woodard joins us now live from River Chase Drive here in Huntsville. Tom, are the firefighters still out there?
Jerry, the fire trucks are gone, but the investigation continues. The suspicious fire here on River Chase Drive has a lot of unanswered questions and many neighbors concerned. Many cars were slowing down and looking around Friday night in this normally quiet neighborhood. They weren't slowing down to look at Christmas lights, but at their neighbor's house, which was gutted by fire Friday afternoon. The fire occurred just after noon, and arson is the suspected cause of the blaze. A man who witnesses say was in the area at the time of the fire is being treated for burns on his face, arms, and legs. But Huntsville police say he is not a suspect. The entire incident worries Beth Pons. She's been in the area the past 5 years and lives just down the street from the burnt-out house.
Shocked me. That's why we moved over here, to be safe from things like that. So it's very unusual, and it's very disheartening because you've got a lot of older people here that are not going to feel safe now.
Debbie Culver has been living here for 9 years. She's concerned because of the many kids who live and play in the area.
It does scare me because I'm a single mom with 2 children. So, I worry about making sure that my doors are locked and things are safe and secure.
For Beth Pons, the security will return when the neighborhood knows more about what happened on their street.
As quickly as possible. We want to know if it's just a random thing or is it somebody that's done this in anger or, are we next? What's going to happen?
Now, as I mentioned earlier, the investigation is continuing, but we do know there were no injuries as a result of the fire. A woman and her teenage son were residents of the home, but they also had a dog, a black chow, and many neighbors are wondering what happened to that dog. Reporting live from Huntsville, Tom Woodard, News Channel 19.
Bond was set today for a man arrested on arson and assault charges in Lauderdale County. This morning, a judge set 31-year-old Jason Earl Pruitt's bond at $100,000. Pruitt was arrested in Mississippi for a September house explosion in the Cloverdale community. That explosion severely burned 14-year-old Carrie Hayes. At last check, Pruitt was still being held in the county lockup. All new tonight at 10, a Marshall County woman accused of killing her husband has taken her own life. A grand jury indicted 41-year-old Darlene Murphy in October. Prosecutors say she shot her husband, Christopher Murphy, in 2003. She was out of jail on bond. District Attorney Steve Marshall says Murphy shot herself inside her home earlier today. One person is dead tonight after a wreck in Madison this evening. That wreck happened about 5:45 on Old Madison Pike near Highland Drive. Police say a Lincoln Navigator and a pickup truck hit each other head on. The driver of the pickup was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the SUV was taken to Huntsville Hospital. Police have not yet released the names of the victims. It backed up traffic on Old Madison Pike for a couple of hours. What do you think about the idea of using video detection cameras to catch and ticket Huntsville drivers who run stoplights? Well, the idea was discussed at last night's Huntsville City Council meeting, and Councilman Glenn Watson says the problem is, quote, epidemic. City police wrote 825 tickets for running red lights in the past year, and Watson isn't the only one who believes running red lights leads to fatalities. At least one Huntsville driver thinks video detection is a good idea.
I think it'd be a good idea because it would slow some of these drivers down. You either stop at the light or you don't. When it's red, it's time to stop. That'll save a lot of accidents from happening.
Video detection is being used in California and Arizona, but to have it here in Huntsville, well, that requires action by the Alabama legislature. A mild and wet start to the holiday season isn't what most people expect this time of year. Those who live in flood-prone areas don't like it at all. News Channel 19's Laurie Parker joins us now live in Huntsville with more. And Laurie, the weather may seem unusual, but you say there is a reason for this?
That's right. It's a scientific weather event that happens every few years, delaying the start of wintry weather or sometimes stopping it altogether. Now, stepping outside tonight, it's clear that that weather event has changed course, but it may not stay that way. The first taste of winter has arrived. At the Galaxy of Lights Friday night, the drastic drop in temperature is a shock to the system for volunteers out in the cold.
Well, it's been fantastic until tonight. Just my luck, you know. The first really cold night, and here I am freezing my moon off. But
it's just another twist in the unusual weather we've had this season. From mild spring-like days to flooding, and now this. But our chief meteorologist, Dan Satterfield, says there is an explanation.
The reason we're in this wet pattern is El Nino.
Dan says this is a time when you really can blame El Nino. A strong El Nino means a wet winter with warmer temperatures. Flooding concerns this week is evidence of that. But the system can't make up its mind.
who knows? I don't know from El Nino.
Arctic air is blowing into the valley. Most here can feel it, except for Peggy Kirchhoff.
Still not cold because I'm from the north. I'm from Chicago, so I moved here a year ago.
The El Nino effect, which comes every 3 to 5 years, has flipped. That means a break from the rain. But it also means adios to mild temperatures.
The question I don't know the answer to is how long will we break out of it?
An abrupt change that is good and bad, depending on who you're talking to. For these people who need a break from the rain, this can't come at a better time. But for Pat Gibson, who's stuck out in the cold, the wet weather doesn't seem so bad. Now, just an idea of how wet it has been in the shoals. They're 17 inches above normal this year for total rainfall. Now let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Dan Satterfield for a look at our forecast. Dan, this cold weather is hard to get used to.
Yeah, it's pretty chilly. I guess if you're from Chicago, this is a fairly mild night. But for us, yeah, it's a pretty chilly night, and the weekend's going to be on the cold side as well. We still have some light rain in a few spots out there. Here's a live look at Armour, mainly up toward Franklin County, Tennessee, along I-24 coming out of Chattanooga. You can see some rain and a few patches down there near the Bankhead Forest in southern portions of Lawrence County, Alabama. We'll take a look at the almanac data. That low you see of 45, that was the temperature last hour out at the airport. Our high was in the early morning hours at 58. Tomorrow, a cold, chilly air mass rotates into Alabama. There may even be some snow flurries up in Tennessee. Huntsville Airport, 45. It's 43 at Meridianville. In the shoals right now at 44. Overnight, I'm going to go for a low of 40. There's some sprinkles out there. Those will continue. It'll be mainly cloudy. And then tomorrow, once again, a fairly chilly day. Highs only around 44. Our rainfall today, by the way, 0 for the first time in a while. Back with the forecast for the rest of the weekend in a few minutes.
The Marines and local farmers insurance agents are getting together tomorrow to help older age kids. The two agencies will be collecting toys at the Huntsville Walmarts located on Sparkman Drive and South Memorial Parkway here in Huntsville, also at the Decatur and Hartselle Walmarts. But the toys they're hoping to get are for kids ages 11 through 15, things like CD players, video games, and clothing.
These kids are often left without a large selection of toys that can be given to them on Christmas morning.
The toy drive will be held at the local Walmart Saturday from 8 until 5. Well, time is running out to help someone less fortunate have a Merry Christmas. The Salvation Army's Angel Tree program ends tomorrow. There are still angels in the shoals that need to be adopted and some senior angels at other locations. You can pick a petition.
You will join me at Voodoo Village and vote to banish one